analysis.
I'm anti-injury, so maybe this won't work out.
Kyler's only playing one tight end this week, so that's probably going to help him out a lot.
They tell it like it is.
That's not what I needed, Grandma Nut.
All right, the hipster fantasy player.
I don't do anything.
Their listeners love them.
Found all your charts boring, to be frank. Caitlin was the star of the show.
They break down all the statistics.
20 points. That doesn't quite add up. Maybe he had 93.
This is the Snick Snack Sports Podcast.
Here we... All right, Snickers, help me out.
What's going on? Happy Halloween to all you ghouls and ghosts out there. What are you doing out here today, Nate?
Happy Halloween, everyone. Yeah. And happy Halloween to you too, Snickers. How you doing?
Doing good. I'm a pirate or something.
Very nice. Yeah, I see you've got a parrot in your pocket.
Yeah.
That's the Halloween spirits, or maybe that's a dove or something. Who knows?
It's from Jamaica, which is an island.
Very nice. Happy Halloween, and another week of fantasy football ahead of us. Both of us are in a tough spot, but we're kind of dueling it out for the playoffs, as we seem to be every year on this podcast.
Yeah, I mean, tough spot. I got a big win last week. I don't know what you're talking about. Did you not get a big win last week?
No, I was the worst in the league. You know, the league's highest scoring week maybe ever. I scored under 100.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we got Kyler on the show today, so excited to have another bottom half team talk about their woes.
Former champ,
former
back-to-back
champ.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's gonna be a good week. Big trade went through between me and Matt last night. We'll talk all about it. I think we both feel like a certain team won, but we'll see. And in fact, speaking of which, there was a bet that we made last week, Snickers. What happened there?
Yeah, big Kansas City Chiefs bet between DeAndre Hopkins, the new old guy, and Xavier Worthy, the old new guy. And I picked the big X, and he got 11.7 points, and Little H got 3.9 points. Obviously, his new nickname. Yeah.
So that is a lesson to be learned, I think, that in both of our bets there, we found out that the
person new to the offense scored a lot less than the person that was on the offense already.
Yeah, exactly. Even though these guys have much higher profiles.
Which is why we did not do Deontay Johnson versus Zay Flowers this week, even though that would have been a better bet for me because I would have picked Zay Flowers.
Yeah, that's a crazy happening that we'll also talk a little about later. Hopefully it doesn't hurt Mark Andrews. He's been very fragile this year in terms of his output. But I'm sure the Ravens are happy to have another member of their stacked team this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have a new bet this coming week for a little 2-on-2 tight end action in celebration of National Tight Ends Week, which was last week. We got a snake draft. Nate had Kate Otten and David Njoku versus my Brock Bowers and Evan Ingram, who are going to be a lot of fun. Obviously, BB's the number one tight end in the league so far this year.
Because tight end week last week lived up to its name big time, and we decided to celebrate that by talking about all these new hotness tight ends. Like tight ends, everyone talk about how tight ends don't score anymore. We even talked with Matt last week about the whole cover 2 thing, and maybe somehow that's contributing to tight ends just not being relevant. And all of a sudden, 17 touchdowns, huge week. George Kittle called it right again.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I love how you said new hotness when two of them have been in the league for 14 years each. But that's fine.
That's true, but new hotness this season, we should say. Because, I mean, they're all new hotness because none of them are doing anything besides Brock Bowers.
Yeah, man. Not totally. But, we had a fun week last week. We got Kyle. I've been making fun of his schedule, but he beat John 133 to 130, something like that. Big win. I got a win against Shane. Nate got a loss, but we'll talk about the trade. He might have ended up winning the war here. We'll see how it goes. Ducky got a huge win over mid-tier Nick, and fun week overall.
Yeah, a lot of really close ones. The Matt and Kenny matchup was super close, as we see here, 127 to 124. Matt came out on top. John and Kyle had a really close matchup, like you said, 133 to 130. These are big scores.
Yeah, John and Kyle's. I was actually watching down to the wire. Third quarter, end of the third quarter of Monday Night Football. John was up by a point and a half, and Kyle needed Malik Neighbors to score like another, basically get another catch, and he ended up getting two or three more catches. But it was really close, and I thought Kyle might actually get his first loss of the season.
Yeah, Kyle has been sneaking by. And actually, let's look at the standings there. Because, yeah, I don't know. It's very rare that we get an 8-0 team. And his
Hmm.
team doesn't seem that special to me. But here it is, 8-0. We got a bunch of 6-2 teams with Kenny, Ducky, and Matt. And then a couple 5-2 teams with mid-tier Nick and Carson. And then we have the three of us here on the show today, me, you, and Kyler at 3-5. We all have a shot to make it. In fact,
Hmm.
apparently Katie at 0-8 technically is not eliminated.
Yeah, no,
Um,
it's very exciting.
and looking at the points for like we like to do, can see that despite the difference in standings, there actually is still that cluster at the top. I fell back a little bit after not participating in big score week, but still have a little of an edge on the next tier down. And Carson continues to have a bit of a lucky season for wins and losses. And love to see the moves over here. We're looking at this before the show. Everyone's participating this year with the roster changes, um, resulting in a very competitive year, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, um, here, before we have our guest on for the show today, we have some news again from around the league. Tell us what else is going on besides that trade.
Yeah, no, a couple really sad things. Stephon Diggs out for the season with an ACL. Christian Kirk out for the season. Brian Thomas in the same team's a little hurt. That's why I really like my Evan Ingram pick this week. Christian McCaffrey, my guy, one that's going to lead me back up the mountain here. He's back to practicing. He should be back after the bye week, so 2 weeks from now. And a big trade in the NFL, Deontay Johnson, like we talked about, goes from Carolina to the Baltimore Ravens.
Indeed. So, yeah, two really big injuries, another potential, but at least a small number of injuries. Um, and now, before we have our special guest, Kyler, on the show for the first time this year, we have a quick word from today's sponsor. In 1 second.
The holidays can be a tough time on your diet. Turkey, stuffing, pie, rarebit, all can do a real number on your stomach. This is why we at CA2 created Expel Plus 2.0 to combat weight gain after binges. Expel Plus 2.0 uses reverse synthetic osmosis to genetically charge the ionic citric acid in your body, which then combines with the negatively charged carbohydrates to burn them on impact. All it takes is 1 spoonful of Expel Plus 2.0 to execute 100 calories from your body. Reputable scientific journalists from InfoWars and Hustler have called this a game changer. If you have a previous experience with Expel or Expel Plus, just know with Expel Plus 2.0 we have fixed the side effects involving blindness and burning internal itchiness. A free case is available to everyone who purchases a CA2 method book exclusively at Sears. If you want to go ham this holiday season, know Expel Plus 2.0 is there for you. Take a sip and feel the fat ejaculate from your body.
Yeah, thank you to CA2 for sponsoring once again the holidays. And people need to lose some weight, I guess, on the holidays.
Ejaculate that weight, Nate.
Ejaculate that weight. And now let's please welcome Kyler to the show. Go. All right, welcome, Kyler. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing great, doing great.
Doing great. Yeah, we are invited you on the show to kind of share our woes. We're the 3-5 teams, and maybe one of us will make the playoffs, but certainly not all of us.
Yeah, I mean, the Jets are playing right now and they're 2-6, and I just saw somebody put a bet on them to win the Super Bowl. So, I mean, if they got a shot and people have confidence in them, then, we have better records than them. We're still got a shot ourselves.
I would place any of our odds higher than the Jets. With Aaron Rodgers leading that thing, you can't have a big whiner taking you to the Super Bowl.
I am definitely better than the Jets. Yep.
Yeah, I'll take my team over the Jets as well.
But what do you see as the flaw in your team so far? I think all of our teams have their flaws. That's why we're not the top. What's the problem you got to fix?
The inconsistency for sure. I mean, I'll have players that 1 week will put up 20 or 25 points, and then the next week they'll throw up a nice little 4 for me. And it's just can't get all on the same page. But, even with that inconsistency, if they're all hitting 20s and 25s in 1 week, I'm going to have a very high scoring week. So just iron out the inconsistency, and I think we can pull it together.
I see.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
are you saying your problem is that your roster is a bunch of boom bust guys?
For sure. Yeah, I mean, Mahomes definitely hasn't had the year that anybody was expecting. I think he'll turn that around. He's as the season goes, he'll start passing more. But yeah, I mean, Cortland Sutton had a 0 spot, and then the next week he puts up 12, 14 points. Travis Kelce did nothing, and then all of a sudden turns it on and puts up a touchdown and gets a decent week.
Yeah, he's going to come back the last few weeks. But yeah, Patrick Mahomes being the 21st best quarterback in the league right now, according to fantasy, is pretty crazy when you think about draft season, especially when you're going up against Sam Darnold and your little brother this week.
Yeah, I think they got DeAndre Hopkins there now, and then Kelsey's already on the team, so that'll that little Patrick Mahomes to Travis Kelce thing that picks back up will be in good shape. And then Bijan, I mean, I think Bijan's a great running back. Like I said, I don't think I have a bad team. It's just been they've been inconsistent, and they start off the season with their low scoring weeks, and they're going to end the season second half with all good scoring weeks. So we'll turn it around.
Yeah, and to your points, your projections almost predicted 116 points this week, and that's with one of your starting running backs on bye. So yeah, it's certainly ESPN doesn't think you have a bad team, but looking at this more now, I agree. But a lot of boom busts, and you might have been better off playing Geno Smith all season.
Yeah, which is who would have said that you're better off playing Geno Smith than Patrick Mahomes at the beginning of the year? They would have you'd have been ostracized. So. But
hey,
no,
Gino didn't write back. So
my best player that I'm the most proud of, I was very high on Fairbairn, the kicker for the Texans, and all draft season long, I was thinking C.J. Stroud scores all these touchdowns, puts up all these points. Somebody's just got to kick the field goals and the extra points for him. And every time he kicks it, he seems to be my highest scoring player every week.
He is very recently, either this week or last week, the all-time leading scorer for the Houston Texans now.
He's he's been a big help to the team, so no complaints in the kicking department. I know Katie's big on that.
Absolutely. I see you don't go to her level where you stash a backup kicker though.
No, I didn't go with that strategy. I figure I have enough boomer bust guys, and if I have some consistency with my kicker, I don't want to mess that up and have a boomer bust kicker as well. So keeping that where it's at. I don't plan on swapping out Fairbairn for anybody. I guess this bye week I'll have to figure something out, but
yeah, I guess they haven't had a bye yet, have they? Now how seriously are you considering keeping Jaime Fairbairn? I'm sure he's on the keeper list.
Keeping a kicker has never been great. I don't know how that strategy's played out for anyone as far as in a good way, but right now it's not a terrible option. But like I said, if the season turns around and we straighten things out, get that record up, I'm sure some of these players are going to have to break out and do pretty well.
Yeah,
we had a little trade with Olave. I'm hoping having Olave join my team, I'm hoping he can break out and do pretty well here as well. That would be nice to get some points out of him.
Yeah, he's definitely the best guy on the team right now. Everyone else is injured or doesn't know how to play football. So
yeah, make that off-season trade worthwhile. That came down to the final minutes before the draft.
Yeah.
To remind everyone, what was this trade with Olave all about? What did you send up for him?
Yeah, so I got lost midway through our trade talks. It was I think there were about 243 messages sent back and forth about how we were going to do this deal. I think I gave my third pick in the 2017 draft and the 18th pick in the 2036 draft, and there were numbers flying left and right for us to figure it out. But now we ironed it out, and I ended up with Olave. And then after I got the trade, I figured out why Nick was so attached to him, because his team name was the Olive Man, and the Olave man, and I didn't even put two and two together that's why he named his team that until after I had already stolen him, and then I felt bad.
Yeah, I mean, it really was something when he drafted them rookie year and pronounced his name wrong, and that was his name for us 2 seasons.
Yeah, it's like this guy's got he's got a history with him, and I'm just trading like he's any other player. This guy's the heart and soul of this guy's team.
Mm.
So
He,
see why he valued him, but won't feel bad if he scores 3 touchdowns for me this week.
Against the Panthers.
It's a possibility. Him or Kamara, one of them's got to go off.
yeah, no, I'm just looking at the trade right now that happened, like you said, right before the season. So you got Olave, and you also got the 34th pick and the 78th pick, and he just got picks, which was the 26th pick. So that could be the same round as your 34th pick.
Yep.
And he got the 47th pick.
Right.
So I actually think that was basically you dropped 3 rounds for him next year.
And he's got the potential to make that worthwhile. The season's not looking like it's going to be a big playoff run, but again, anything can happen, and he may be my my bell cow there.
Mm.
And what's going to be the path to victory against your brother this week? He's had a pretty decent team this year too.
Yeah, let's can we pull up that matchup? I want to see who he's got, and I'll let you know what his
Yeah.
or we talked about, my flaws with the inconsistency. I think that's easily solved. Just it'll work out there. So
Yeah, can you see his score here, Kyler?
Yep. Yeah, I got you. So I don't hate Sam Darnold. Kyron Williams he's been steady. That Eagles defense, they they're definitely not the greatest either. So, it's going to be a tough matchup looking at this. I think the Eagles and Jacksonville kind of have a shootout, so there's going to be some points scored in that game. Jaden Reed, there's a lot of weapons in Green Bay with Wicks, and Reed's got his ups and downs. McLaurin, same thing. But again, he's got a good matchup. So I'll be honest, Carson's got the matchup. So it's going to have to be that, not that his team doesn't do well, but it's going to have to be that my players all step up to match up with it. It's going to be a high scoring. I wouldn't be surprised if this was the highest scoring matchup in the league this week.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. We've been kind of dogging Carson's team that he's been really lucky he hasn't have a lot of points against him yet this year. But yeah, no, his team is definitely good, especially Kyron Williams. Jaden Reed thing, we'll see how that goes. Jordan Love says he is going to play, but he probably isn't, and we have to see how that goes.
He's got a couple big players on the bench, having Kittle, Debo.
Yeah, no, you're lucky not playing him during a 49er week. So
yeah, I mean, that's definitely going to benefit me. So I think I squeaked this one out. I think again it's going to be a high scoring matchup. Maybe even a throw of a 150 to 140. But
okay.
Onside kick recovery team. Now don't have too many onside kicks.
There has been one so far this year.
Fully charged up to win this matchup.
Yeah, I think you did pick a good week to play Carson. I agree. I think you pull it out too, Kyler. Now this is a week of themed matchups. So you're playing your brother. We also have the husband-wife matchup.
Oh, it's always
yeah, this is always a matchup I pick every year. Like Katie and Matt going up against each other. Obviously, their seasons are very different so far, 6-2 versus 0-8. But after Matt's trade that we're going to talk about in a minute here, he's currently projected less than 100 points, and Katie's at 114 with a pretty stacked roster right now.
Yeah, I couldn't say this before, but I can tell you firsthand that when a husband plays their wife in fantasy football, it's not always the best best time to be in the doghouse if you're not you're winning. Because if you're winning, you're in a good mood and she's not, and if she's winning, she's in a good mood and you're not. So it makes it a challenge, but it's all, you got to remember it's fun competition, and throw a little side bet in there that the loser does the dishes or makes dinner, and really, really spruce it up.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I would love to see this week be the first week that Katie gets a win, and ESPN's all about it. It has her at 116 points. It doesn't even have Matt breaking 100. I'm trying to figure out what's going on there. And I guess partly he's losing Jordan Mason. He sent away his best wide receiver to me, of course. And
Yep.
I'll ask you about that in a little bit, Kyler. I'm interested to hear your thoughts. And he's being forced to play Devin Singletary for some reason. Not sure why he would make the roster over Nick Chubb.
Yeah, I think the Giants starting running back I think is hurt right now, or questionable at least. So Singletary might not be a bad play against that Commanders team.
yeah, yeah. We'll see how that goes. But yeah,
But
Nate, there's another matchup this week that's actually really
I'm
impactful for the standings.
I'm curious how Vegas has the odds on this matchup with Katie being 0-8, but
Mm.
but her points are projected higher. I wonder how Vegas would play it.
Katie is on
I
the road too, so yeah.
Yeah, the very impactful thing. Her
And
fans,
the weather could really be a factor as well. You
Mm.
can't
yeah,
forget
especially when it comes to kicking.
yeah, the wind, snow, and the rain and everything. Oof.
But yeah, the blockbuster matchup of the week is Kyle and Nick. Don't be deceived that Nick's team name now has Kyle's name in it, but he is known brick thrower Kyle. And this one is destined to be a barn burner, kind of like you're projecting for yours, Tyler. We got 124 for Nick. We got 119 for Kyle, both well above the league average, which is always sitting around like 110, I believe. Um, who wins this one, you guys?
So I think the brick thrower is going to be throwing bricks at the cuddly poops all weekend long. I think Bo Nix against the Ravens. I think he steps up and impresses some people. I think you can't go wrong with Henry. He's going to put up points right back. I think those two battle back. There's going to be 50 plus points between the two of them right there. And then CD, Kamara, Cup. I mean, you can't beat that team. So yeah, they're throwing bricks. They're throwing bricks at the cuddly poops all weekend long. This matchup here.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Ducky going to the Bo Nix 2 weeks in a row. He scored 160 with them last week, and it's definitely going to be a fun matchup. I want to give Kyle a quick shout out in our other league. My team is named Team Luxembourg Bar, and Kyle changed his last name to Bar. So that was really fun matchup last week, but it is going to be pretty close. I think for everyone's sake, I want to definitely see the undefeated team get a first loss there, but it's gonna be nice. I like all the players.
Yeah, yeah, it kind of interesting like comparison point. Katie has not won yet, and she has a good chance of winning. Kyle's team is undefeated, has a good chance of losing, and it looks like Ducky made the right call so far over CJ Stroud putting in Bo Nix because through one quarter CJ Stroud has negative points.
Mm. He is playing Tank Dell though, so that's the downfall there instead of Jalen McMillan or Wandale Robinson.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Looking like it's going to be even the playing field weekend here with the 8-0 team getting a loss, and the 0-8 team getting a win.
Mm.
maybe. Although he just picked up Chase Brown, which brings us to our waiver wires. There was a really interesting this week. I think I would actually want to show the um
Thursday one.
Thursday one first. I don't know if you were following this, Tyler, but Shane dropped Chase Brown on Wednesday, and people went crazy for him.
Wow. Yeah.
Um,
Why would you drop Chase Brown there?
I know he's
That's like
considered to be the starting running back, and I'm not sure. I haven't talked to Shane about it, but
Yeah.
obviously everyone else would have happily traded him. It seems like because meanwhile Kyle's putting a third of his fab on him.
Yeah, that's a bold strategy. I think shop around, see what you can get in trade. If you're missing a kicker, come to me. And I got Fairbairn for Chase Brown. I would have considered. I probably would have required a 75th round draft pick or something to go along, even it out. But yeah, we could have worked something out. So he definitely missed an opportunity there to up his kicking position.
Yeah, and a lot of very competitive bids. It looks like most people were thinking they could snag him for about $10, including you, Nick.
yeah.
Obviously that didn't end up being too close. I was surprised. I saw that happen. I'm not used to people paying attention on Thursday morning. I thought I could sneak him for $1. But not even close.
No, I thought I was gonna be sneaky. I changed my bid last night from $6 to $9, but obviously not even close still yet.
People are paying more attention than I thought. Um, but even on Wednesday, it was a high flying week and a week that I didn't really feel the need to participate.
Hmm.
Um, well, this was you, Kyler. Tell us about your $21 pickup.
Yeah, apparently I valued the Commanders' defense a little bit higher than some people valued Chase Brown. And actually, you would think that I almost saw what Matt was bidding with the Enduro season $20 claim there to
Yeah.
know to put one extra George Washington in the stack there and squeak out the grabbing that defense. Defense, along with the kicker, a very important point, especially when you don't have consistency in your team. You got to step it up where you can with the kicker and the defense, I guess. So, I do value the Commanders' defense, but to put them at a price higher than Chase Brown, there's definitely some questions there.
Yeah, and looking here, we can see that Shane dropped Chase Brown for Elijah Moore, which he spent $11 on. I do find that very surprising because Elijah Moore hasn't done anything, and yeah, Winston's in town, and maybe they'll start scoring now. But maybe he's regretting his decision, seeing how everyone else responded.
Shane got into the Halloween candy last night a little early, and got a little sugar rush going, and thought he was outsmarting everybody. But I'm not sure that's the case.
Yeah,
But Xavier Leggett for Matt for $20. Carson's trading in the future for the past. Blake Corum drops. Elliott picked up.
Yep.
Pretty interesting week. And
$3 for Matthew Stafford. I'm pretty sure you could have had him for a couple of nickels.
Matt
Yeah,
Stafford, I think, was the second or third best quarterback in the week last year, and he was just sitting on the waivers all since Thursday.
Yep.
and actually,
Who has Cooper Cup? That'd be a nice little.
Pretty sure Ducky has Coop.
yeah,
If I had
he-
Cooper Cup, I could see picking up Stafford. I like the little QB, wide receiver one combo, but
seems like he had a similar idea because that is the stack that he now has, although he didn't play it this week.
yes,
Um, But actually, this week, everyone had very different ideas about what the worthwhile money spends were. The only one that had more than one bid was your Commanders, and besides that, everyone else, could have spent $1 and still got their player.
yeah. I would have had to spend a whole $3 to ensure that the Commanders came home.
But given that I've already committed the greatest sin this year by spending $46 when the next closest was like 6 or something, no one's quite matched me there yet.
How's that claim working out for you? Was it a good move?
I mean, the player, Kareem Hunt's been excellent for my team,
There you
but
go.
it always does feel silly when I apparently just threw away like $40. But the other thing I wanted to get your guys' opinion on is my trade with Matt this week. I don't know if you saw it, Kyler, but I sent away Kenneth Walker, Devin Singletary, and Rico Dowdle, so 3 running backs.
Yep.
I got back Rashad White, another running back, and I got back number 1 wide receiver, Jamar Chase.
Yeah, so I've been a little suspicious of this whole Jamar Chase thing. I'm still not sure on the same, getting to keep him for 15 years straight now as an 8th round pick. Been suspicious for that from the beginning. However, came to terms with it, and the rules are the rules. He won fair and square by keeping him, and I think for him to trade him away now, I probably would have kept, finished the ride out with it. The season was going pretty well for him, and I think he could have helped him get there. But there's a lot of running backs are tough to come across these days. I think in the drafts this year, people drafted running backs a lot earlier than everyone was expecting because it's tough to find those consistent 3-down backs and even just consistent scores. So I thought it was really, it could work out getting 3 decent running backs in that trade. I didn't see an issue with the trade. I thought it was pretty fair. I think there's
Wow, that is not my opinion, Kyler.
now you disagree.
I think Nate made that and stole Jamar Chase from Matt there.
I will say the trade was
apparently it
Matt's
Matt's
idea.
decision. Yeah.
Yeah, Nick, he already told me you don't believe that Matt got a good deal. I do feel pretty happy with the trade. Certainly, it's very risky to give away three running backs, but I've never played Dowdle this year, and I'm starting to doubt that it'll pull it together. I've also Devin Singletary, I worry will have be kind of done. You know, Tracy's been so good. I hadn't heard about a Tracy injury. If he's a little bit hobbled this week, obviously that would change things. But I like the situation of Chase. The Bengals always get hot in the second half of the year. Um, I also like the situation with Rashad White, even though Bucky Irving's there competing with him, their best wide receivers are both out for a while, and I'm hoping to get some good weeks out of them. So,
Yeah,
um,
I think you made out very well, but I can see the upside in getting three running backs too. So
yeah,
yeah,
three running back is a lot. That's best three viable running backs, of course, very valuable, as you said, Kyler.
Two viable running backs, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, two, potentially a third. He's been good earlier in the season, not so much lately, but a handcuff at least.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I will also say to your point, Kyler, about this whole Jamar Chase thing, to add to your suspicion, I think it's interesting that this next season was gonna be the first year that Jamar Chase was not eligible under the current rules. And
correct.
it was the year that Matt set in place a rule that says you can't keep a guy for more than 1 year.
Yep, that's where the some of the eyebrows went up, and then to trade him away. But like I said, we moved past that, and now you've traded for him, so now you can't keep him anyway. It's one season. If you thought the deal was fair, like I said, it's not so imbalanced that I had an issue with the trade.
Yeah, and Matt never got the cup. In fact, he's had some bad years with Jamar Chase
Mhm.
on his team.
Yeah, Chase is, he's not a boomer bust guy, but he's had some injuries, and Burrow getting hurt a couple times throughout the past couple years is made it tough for Chase. So he's definitely.
Mhm.
I think he had a 54-point game one week. He's had his ups, but he's had some struggles in there too. So
Yeah. Yeah. Chiefs week 17 a couple years ago. But yeah, Kyler, before we have to head out here, there's another little commotion that went on in the group chat this week where Nick Adams and Kenny traded players and then traded them back the week later. What are your initial thoughts just on that practice?
I mean, sometimes you don't realize what you got till it's gone. You
That's a great thing to say.
trade away a player and you start missing them, or trade away somebody that's on your team and you realize the team starts falling apart. The chemistry is just not there without that guy. And I don't think the locker room was the same, and they realized they needed their player back. So I'm not sure which side of the ball that was occurring on, but one of them called up the other and started begging for her back.
Yeah, I mean,
I
Kenny did get a loss last week. Did Nick lose last week too? I think, yeah, they both lost last week, so maybe they just decided it was the wrong thing.
There was an issue in the locker room. The chemistry wasn't there.
Mhm.
Missing, their top player.
You
Mm.
need those locker room guys.
Yeah.
Um, so no, I see it. I think unfortunately for them, the trade did not go through. It was rejected. I know there's an outcry, overstep on the commish. I may have accused them of collusion. Um, but we'll see how it all shakes out. I think that it's a little bit of a gray area. I posted the official podcast stance that 1 week trades are always collusion, just because you could create a situation where me and Nick could say, "Hey, I'm playing Kyler this week. You're playing Kyler next week. Why don't I trade you my best player? I'm playing, someone bad. We'll beat Kyler. Trade him back to me. I'll beat Kyler. No problem." But and you don't
Right.
want that, of course.
Right.
No. As the commissioner, I'm sure Goodell's aware that, not every decision is going to be easy, and not every decision is going to be loved by all. But you're the commissioner for a reason. We trust your judgment. So I can definitely see where that could be a slippery slope and turn into collusion real quickly. And but also if anybody wants to make a quick 1 week trade, I'm open to offers to help out
I
when you're 3-6. You start getting a little desperate, but we'll see.
Yeah, I sent actually a couple 1 week trade offers to Kenny. He rejected all of them. Apparently, he's not as easy as I thought. Um, but I will, maybe the question I'll close you on, Kyler, is who do you think is a better commissioner, Roger Goodell or Matt slash Nick?
Oh, that's that's a tough one
Lose there.
because Roger Goodell gets paid significantly more than Matt/Nick.
You could say infinitely more.
Oh, infinitely more. So the public must value Roger Goodell more. However, I know Dave Portnoy would say that, my sleeping dog right here is a better commissioner than Roger Goodell. So I'm gonna have to say that Matt/Nick is gets the trophy in my mind for being the better commissioner.
Despite all of the conspiracies and gates that they cause, I will say they have more charisma than Roger Goodell, who might have the least charisma of anyone I've ever seen.
Yeah, and I haven't been able to hear everyone during the draft. I don't have microphones on them when they're drafting, but as far as I know, Matt and Nick have not gotten booed during a draft.
Good point.
And when Goodell gets booed every year during it. So
no, we got the timer running out in this, Kyler, but thank you so much for joining us. I'm gonna close this out and have a great week, everyone. We'll see you soon.
Thanks for having me. I look forward to it.
Yeah.